An attendee at this year's British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards has come forward to explain the shocking moment that briefly overshadowed the celebration of cinema, when he shouted a racial slur during a red carpet appearance by the stars of the film Sinners. The outburst, which occurred as the cast posed for photos and greeted press outside London's Royal Festival Hall, sent a ripple of disbelief through the crowd. Security swiftly removed the man from the premises, and video clips circulating on social media captured both the disruption and the stunned reactions of those nearby. Now, days later, the attendee, who has not been formally identified by authorities, has offered his account of what led to the incident and why, as he claims, he couldn't suppress the comment. The moment that stopped the red carpet. The BAFTA red carpet is typically a meticulously choreographed affair. Publicists usher talent from interview to interview. Photographers call out names. Fans line the barricades hoping for a wave or autograph. But as the Sinners cast approached, the celebratory mood was pierced by a shouted racial slur, a word so loaded with centuries of oppression that it immediately shifted the energy of the space. Witnesses described an audible gasp. One publicist reportedly froze mid-sentence. A member of the cast appeared to stiffen but continued walking, refusing to engage. Within seconds, security personnel moved in, escorting the man away as he continued shouting. Clips shared online quickly went viral, prompting widespread condemnation and renewed conversations about racism in entertainment spaces. BAFTA organizers released a brief statement calling the behavior unacceptable and wholly contrary to the inclusive values of the event. The attendee's explanation. In a statement given to a local media outlet, the attendee claimed that the outburst was not premeditated. He described himself as an overwhelmed fan who had consumed alcohol before arriving at the venue. "I wasn't thinking," he said. "I had been drinking, and the atmosphere was intense. It just came out. I don't even know why. I couldn't suppress it in that moment." He insisted he did not consider himself racist and expressed what he described as regret for the disruption. However, his explanation, that the word simply came out under pressure, has sparked intense backlash online. Critics argue that such language does not surface spontaneously without underlying prejudice. Psychologists and social commentators have weighed in, noting that alcohol may lower inhibitions but does not create new beliefs. Disinhibition reveals what is already present, one behavioral expert commented in a televised discussion about the incident. It doesn't invent it. Impact on the cast of Sinners. While the cast of Sinners has not issued a unified public statement, individual responses have trickled out through interviews and social media. One lead actor, speaking at a press event the following day, acknowledged the moment without dwelling on it. "It's disappointing," the actor said. "But we won't let one person's ignorance define our night or our work." The film itself, a gritty drama exploring themes of identity, power, and redemption, has been widely praised for its performances and cultural commentary. Ironically, many viewers have pointed out that Sinners grapples with systemic prejudice and personal accountability, making the red carpet incident feel especially pointed. Industry peers rallied around the cast, with several prominent actors posting messages of solidarity. One Oscar-winning performer wrote, "There's no place for hate at celebrations of art." Full support to the incredible team behind Sinners. BAFTA's response and security. Review. BAFTA organizers acted quickly in the immediate aftermath, confirming that the individual had been removed and that a review of security protocols would take place. Though the event has historically prided itself on balancing accessibility with exclusivity, this incident has prompted questions about vetting procedures and crowd control. In its official statement, BAFTA emphasized its commitment to diversity and inclusion, noting ongoing initiatives aimed at expanding representation both in front of and behind the camera. "We remain steadfast in our zero-tolerance policy toward discriminatory behavior," the statement read. Insiders say organizers are considering additional training for event staff to handle discriminatory disruptions more proactively, as well as reviewing alcohol service policies at high-profile ceremonies. The debate over accountability. The attendee's assertion that he couldn't suppress the slur has ignited a broader debate about personal responsibility. On social media platforms, users dissected his wording, arguing that the language suggests a lack of accountability. One viral post read, "If that word is so close to the surface that you can't suppress it, that's not a momentary slip, that's a reflection of what's inside." Others called for legal consequences, though experts note that prosecution would depend on local laws regarding hate speech and public disorder. As of now, authorities have not announced any formal charges. Civil rights advocates have stressed that consequences should extend beyond removal from the venue. Public humiliation isn't the same as accountability, one activist wrote. True accountability involves education, restitution, and changed behavior. Alcohol and disinhibition, a familiar defense. Claiming intoxication as a mitigating factor is not uncommon in high-profile public outbursts. But experts caution against equating alcohol with absolution. Alcohol impairs judgment and lowers inhibitions, making individuals more likely to say or do things they might otherwise restrain. However, it does not implant ideas or language into a person's mind. The readiness with which certain words surface can indicate familiarity and prior usage. The attendee acknowledged consuming multiple drinks before arriving at the red carpet. He described feeling caught up in the spectacle, and said the word was uttered in what he called a misguided attempt at provocation, rather than targeted hatred. That explanation has done little to quell criticism. The broader context of racism in awards spaces. The incident also reignited conversations about racism within the film industry's most prestigious spaces. Over the past decade, movements such as #OscarsSoWhite have highlighted systemic exclusion and bias. Although progress has been made, moments like this underscore the persistence of deeply rooted attitudes. Awards ceremonies are symbolic spaces. They represent not just artistic achievement but cultural values. A racist disruption in such a setting carries symbolic weight, reminding observers that celebration and prejudice can coexist uneasily. Several industry commentators noted that while institutions have worked to diversify nominations and voting bodies, audience culture and broader societal attitudes remain harder to shift. Public reaction, outrage and reflection. Online reaction to the attendees' explanation was swift and overwhelmingly critical. Hashtags condemning racism trended within hours. Many users rejected the notion that such language could emerge without conscious intent. At the same time, some commentators used the incident as an opportunity to call for deeper dialogue rather than mere punishment. We can condemn the act and still ask why this mindset persists. One cultural critic wrote, that tension, between immediate condemnation and longer-term education, reflects an ongoing societal debate about how to address racist behavior when it surfaces publicly. Moving forward for the film and its stars. Despite the disruption, Sinners continued to garner attention for its artistic merits. Critics have praised its layered storytelling and powerful performances, and the film's awards momentum appears intact. For the cast, the decision not to amplify the incident may be strategic. By refusing to center the outburst, they shift focus back to their work, a reminder that one individual's hate does not eclipse collective achievement. Industry observers note that resilience in the face of such moments is both admirable and unfairly expected. Marginalized performers often shoulder the burden of maintaining composure in situations where they are targeted. A teachable moment, or a missed opportunity. Whether the attendee's public explanation constitutes genuine remorse remains debated. In his statement, he said he hopes to learn from this, and has offered a private apology to the cast through their representatives. Yet many argue that words alone are insufficient. Calls for restorative justice measures, diversity training, and public education initiatives have grown louder. The incident serves as a stark reminder that progress in representation does not automatically eradicate prejudice. Cultural change is uneven, and symbolic milestones can coexist with regressive behavior. Conclusion: what the incident reveals. The BAFTA red carpet disruption will likely be remembered less for the individual who caused it and more for what it exposed. A single shouted slur illuminated the fragile boundary between celebration and hostility, between art's aspiration toward inclusivity and society's lingering inequities. The attendee claims he couldn't suppress the word. For many observers, that phrasing is precisely the point. Suppression implies presence, and presence suggests work still to be done, not only by institutions but by individuals willing to examine the roots of their impulses. As awards season continues, the industry faces a familiar challenge: to celebrate creativity while confronting the realities that threaten to undermine it. In that sense, the incident is both deeply disturbing and revealing, a moment that forces reflection long after the red carpet has been rolled away.